Here's a well, a very telling story of two men who were killed in Maxfield, and it's Lino, you were not being slick when you did this. Like the one of the guys was more Kevaughn Young. Now you look in the picture, is that Kevaughn Young or is that Carisha Young? Because the guy does pretty much. What's I say? Look too girly. Yeah. Well, when I look at that, I thought that he was a she, but that's not even an issue for me. But let's go. So detectives from St. Andrews South and Police Division reporting the murders of two men at a dwelling along Maxfield Avenue yesterday. They have been identified as 20-year-old Kevaughn Young and 20-year-old Recco Gayle, both of Maxfield Avenue addresses. As crime scene detectives protest the scene, a group of women described Reed as a jovial person. Yeah, read between the lines when she says something like that, of course. Who did not serve such a death. One of them said that both of them, let's just say, had sugar in their tanks. And yeah, read between the lines when I say stuff like that. But they said that's not an issue for residents. They said that Gayle came to stay with Young, who lived in the community as a child, and then basically said that, hey, yeah, the guy pretty much had his leanings and whatever. And they're saying, hey, we know that these two were flaming, but hey, that wasn't a bone of contention. So, well, so on. According to the Deputy Superintendent Cole Regimental, who was in charge of operations for St. Andrews South, residents reported that both of them heard some gunshots, and both of them their bodies were discovered in a abandoned building. The crime scene process and they're basically saying that these two got lit up like 20 shells were recovered. Alright, so I always make it sad that Kevaughn Young, like his mother, who said that they were estranged, like he had spoke for years. No, the last time she saw her son was post-mortem. So I have to grieve, because again, I said no parents should ever have to bury their children. And yeah, we're not going to really get on the case. I think that Gleaner was being slick and Star being slick by just posting him in the most effeminate way possible, because they're going to say, boy, the man they are sprite to my fish or whatever, and they're basically I think they were trying to create this narrative that it was a hate crime, but we don't know, because I think obviously when someone shoots them 20 times, that seems like something very personal. I don't know what happened. It doesn't seem like it was a robbery. That seemed like something very personal. Whatever. It could be interesting to find out if these guys had any enemies, because they're saying that both of these guys were paragons of virtue. I don't know. That may or may not be true, but we don't. But there's a lot of unanswered questions there. Yeah. No. The question I want to ask is, they're not going to be messy. What J Flag, Montego Bay Pride, or them are going to say about this? Because I am noticing when a lot of these people who are of the LGBT community get harmed or killed in these fashions, you don't really hear people from these organizations. And again, I'm not really trying to like bring them into it though, but I was very interested that they're not saying anything about this guy. And for what I said, this guy, if they tell the truth, did not harm a soul. Maybe he was killed to make a point to somebody else. Maybe his friend Reed, maybe he was mixed up in something, and Young had to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know. God knows the truth, and I hope that justice is done. But yeah, I am noticing that we're not really hearing from certain communities when it comes to people of their own communities that get harmed in these very sinister fashions. But yeah, I'm done being messy, so that's pretty much all I have to say. So this is for State of Jamaica and the Caribbean. Check out my YouTube pages, Miles Gustin Farron, Miles Productions, Real Thoughts and Miles. Alright.